then the issue of al-qadr, mean the pre-adornment or the predestination, divine predestination, can become more clear. So these four things I think we have to know. The one is about the knowledge of God actually. Allah knows everything. He is all-knowing. And one of the attributed names of Allah is Al-Alim. That means all-knowing. He knows what has happened, what is happening, and what will happen. His knowledge is spread over all. He is all-knowing. And then the second thing, that Allah has recorded all that what has happened and all that will happen. That is His knowledge. Through that is called Ma asaba min musibat, in the Quran says. No problem or any kind of disease or anything that is not favorable can come to us unless it is already written, it's already recorded somewhere, and that is in the law. Allah has recorded all that has happened and all that will happen. And the third thing, whatever Allah wills to happen, it happens. And whatever He wills not to happen, does not happen. For the support to this is the Quranic verses. وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ. Even we cannot think about something, even we cannot have the choice of that, because Allah is the creator. So what will happen and what is happening and what happened in the past, it's with the will of God. And fourth thing, because Allah is the creator of everything. So, in the beginning of the talk, I mentioned that there are two actually levels of belief or iman. One I already told you, that is called iman al-mufassir, means the detailed articles of faith that we have just, listen, that's the 7 articles of faith. Those 7 articles, once we have understood, then this is very important after that. That is called iman mujmal, mean in a very concise and comprehensive form of belief. What is that? Amantu billahi kama huwa bi asma'ihi wa sifatihi wa qabiltu jami'a ahkamihi iqrarun bil lisani wa tasdiqun bil qalb. Whatever we have understood before, all those 7 articles, it's just not like a lip service that we just utter these words that I believe in Allah, I believe in His all prophets, all His revealed books, all angels, and on the day of judgment and the day of resurrection, and that everything good or bad, it's in Allah's hand, the al-qadr, the taqdeer. All those 7 articles, it's if we just say from our mouth, but it has no conviction here. That actually is talking about that. Amantu billahi, I believe in Allah. Kama huwa bi asma'ihi. Same as with that all the attributes and His names that He possesses. Wa qabiltu, and I agreed. Jami'a ahkamihi, all His commandments, all His orders, that what we have learned, the 7 articles of faith. How? Iqrarun bil lisan. Iqrar means to utter the words from the mouth. Bil lisan means the tongue. So mean I utter these words from my tongue, means I also testify this from my mouth, from the tongue. And then wa tasdeequm bil qalb, and I testify all these articles or commandments or the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the core of my heart. So this is very important, and I actually sometimes give the example for this like that. When you see a movie or a play or a drama, you see there is an actor or actress, and a script is given to him or her to perform. If he say a dialogue, and you will see in his real life, he has nothing to do what he said, or what he actually, during the movie or the play or the drama, what dialogues he made. If you see in his real life, has nothing to do with that. If our situation is same like that, that what we say from our tongue, the utterance of those words that we say, that I believe in God, I believe in His angels, I believe in His all prophets, and I believe on the day of judgment, and all other, the list of those articles that we have just learned, but it has no effect on his deeds and action on his heart, then it will not serve the purpose. Then it will, just like a movie star or actor, the role is given just for that short span of time. Maybe in one movie he might perform or acts like a king, but maybe another movie the same, maybe he acts like a beggar, or like a dacoit, like a smuggler, or like a thief, or some other roles he has to play. But in his real life, he has nothing to do what he is saying. Same is the case. If we believe all those articles with the spirit, that we, of course, we have to say from our mouth, to utter these words, when we say, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger of God. Even a non-believer, you see in different movies, they are not Muslims, but they say these words. They might have shown performing the prayer of the salah in the mosque, or the other, the acts of worship, but in their real life, they don't believe in that. So just utterance of these words from the mouth is not enough, is not sufficient, will not serve the purpose, unless with the utterance of these words, we confirm this, we testify this from our heart, that what I say, I believe. And how can be testified? It can be depicted in the form of your actions and deeds. Your life will be judged, that what you say is that your life is compatible to that what you are saying. Otherwise, Quran says, "Lema taquluna ma la taf'alun." Why you say that you don't act according to that what you said. And then Allah's severe punishment is for those people that are called hypocrites. And hypocrites will be in the hellfire, but on the lowest level of hellfire. That is the severe punishment for those people who say from the mouth something, but they don't act, and then they don't do what they say. And there is a very famous English quotation I just can recall, that an ounce of practical example is better than millions of preachments. If you do a good action, maybe it's equal to like an ounce. Ounce is very small, but its importance is more than if you make the speech or the talking. Maybe it's millions of your talking or preachments, but the dominant factor will be your actions, what you have done, what you have shown in reality, in the practical shape. Okay, now let's come to the next topic, that is the 99 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah actually is the divine name, the divinity, Allah. And apart from that, all other are the attributed names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the Holy Quran, Allah says, وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا. All those magnificent and beautiful names are for God. So when you want to call to your Lord, so you call to your Lord with these beautiful names. And when the people ask, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي فَأَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ. O Prophet, when those people ask you about me, where is your God? So you let them know what? Anni fa inni qareeb, I am very near to them. Ud'uni astajib lakum. I accept their supplications, their prayers, but the condition is that they have to come forward and ask for help ask for help or refuge from whom? From Allah. Then Allah will respond, but they have to come forward. If you see, when it's raining, and if the pot is like this, even a single drop of water can come inside the pot. But if it's this reverse position, then even it's heavily raining, even not a single drop of water can go inside. So we actually have to be in that position that we will go to the doorsteps, and then we should ask help and seek refuge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And those 99 names in Arabic called actually Asma'ul Husna. That's those 99 beautiful names are the names of Allah, specifically attributes or the qualities or the characteristics by which Muslims regard Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and which are traditionally maintained as described in the Quran and Sunnah. There are some names, that is not all of them, that has been mentioned in the Quran in different chapters, different verses. And then some are from the Sunnah, from the Hadith, the sayings of the Holy Prophet, those attributes of Allah are mentioned. So then it's a collection of those attributed name of God. There is, according to Hadith, a special group of 99 names, but no enumeration of them. Thus the exact list is not agreed upon, and the names of Allah as adjective and constructs are otherwise exceed 99 in the Quran and Sunnah. Some of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have been hidden from mankind that we don't know. Therefore, there are not only 99 names, but there are more than that. To have a collection of those names, that where those Allah's attributed names are in like a bunch of, you see roses put together like a bunch of flowers. So these beautiful names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you want to see somewhere collectively, so you will see that this verse of the Quran that is called the verse of throne, we Muslims regard it as Ayatul Kursi. It starts with that, Allahu la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum la ta'khudhuhu sinatun wa la nawm lahu ma fis samawati wa ma fil ard man zal ladhi yashfa'u 'indahu illa bi iznihi ya'lamu ma bayna aydihim wa ma khalfahum wa la yuhituna bi shay'in min ilmihi illa bima sha'a wasi'a kursiyyuhu as-samawati wal ard wa la ya'uduhu hifzuhuma. Now we can just simply go through the translation. Allah, none has the right to be worshipped, but He here is referring to God, Allah, the ever living, the one who sustains and protects all that exists. Neither slumber nor sleep overtake Him. To Him belongs whatever is in the heavens and whatever is on the earth. Who is there can intercede with Him except with His permission? He knows what happens to them, His creatures in this world, and what will happen to them in the life hereafter. And they will never compass anything of His knowledge except that which He wills. His kursi means His throne. This is actually Arabic word, kursi, throne. Not like a chair, but it's referring to Allah's throne, His kursi extends over the heavens and the earth, and He feels no fatigue in guarding and preserving them. Because we get sometimes bored, or maybe sometimes we get exhausted if we work from 9 to 6 or 9 to 5, and if we have to work like 9, 10 and maybe late night, then we totally exhaust because we have limitations. But these things you cannot apply to God. He actually, all these things that our shortcomings, he doesn't need at all. Any of them we can, and preserving them. And He is the most high, the most great. And as a reference, you can note it down. It's the chapter number 2 and the verse number 255. And this is one of the longest verses in the Quran. This is not the longest, but one of the longest verses in the Quran. Muslims call it Ayatul Kursi. So this is just for your knowledge that if you want to find those beautiful names, the attributed names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are placed somewhere, in a collective form. So this is the one reference that you can find. Most of the, the name, you see, Allah is here, Ilah is here, Al-Hayy is here, Al-Qayyum is here. So, Aliz, Azim, the Most High, the Most Great. So this is a beautiful collection of the attributed names of Allah. In the next, another, part of the Quran, that is the chapter number 59, also is a beautiful collection of those attributed names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Huwallahu alladhi la ilaha illa hu alimul ghaybi wash shahadati huwa ar-rahmanur rahim. Huwallahu alladhi la ilaha illa huwal malikul quddusus salamul mu'minul muhayminul azizul jabbarul mutakabbir. Subhanallahi amma yushrikun. Huwallahul khaliqul bari'ul musawwirul lahul asma'ul husna. يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. And we will go through the simple translation. He is Allah, than whom there is none has a right to be worshipped, but He alone. And all knower of the unseen and the seen, open. He is the most beneficent, the most merciful. He is Allah, that whom there is none has the right to be worshipped, but He, the King, the Holy, the one free from all defects, shortcomings, the giver of security, the watcher over His creatures, the Almighty, the Compeller, the Supreme. Glory to be Allah. High is He above all that they associate as partners with Him. He is Allah, the creator, the inventor of all things, the bestower of forms. To Him belong the best names that we call Asmaul Husna. All that is in the heavens and on the earth glorify Him, and He is the Almighty, the All-Wise. So this, you can write it down as a reference, that if you want to know the collection of these beautiful names in the Quran, so these two places have a very beautiful collection of those attributed names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Can we put this, let them listen those beautiful names? This is the link.
Do we have online? Do we have a Wi-Fi here?
Wi-Fi is on. You can use my Wi-Fi.
Can you just share that with me?
Meanwhile, they fix it up there, those technical stuff. Actually, when I was a child and I start learning this holy book, the Quran, from my childhood, when we were school-going children, whenever early in the morning, recite the holy book, the Quran, and if you see on the
Islam to heaven, yes.
the hardbound copies of the Quran, that before starting the Quran, on the hard title of the Quran, you see those 99 attributed names of Allah are printed there. So every day I make this custom, or this make me a practice, that I just read it out. And one day I realized, why should not I memorize all those names? And one day, alhamdulillah, then I just asked my teacher to listen that what are the names in order. So unless they try to fix it, I just recite those names by myself, and then we can listen those beautiful names from one of the brothers, mashallah, in a very beautiful voice. I just read by myself. In the meanwhile, you fix up the things. Huwallah, you can count.
Already done.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Huwallahu alladhi la ilaha illa huwa ar-Rahmanur Rahim al-Malikul Quddus as-Salam al-Mu'min al-Muhaymin al-Aziz al-Jabbar al-Mutakabbir al-Khaliq al-Bari al-Musawwir al-Ghaffar al-Qahhar al-Wahhab al-Razzaq al-Fattah al-Alim al-Qabid al-Basit al-Khafid al-Rafi' al-Muzill al-Sami' al-Basir al-Hakam al-Adl al-Latif al-Khabir al-Halim al-Azim al-Ghafur al-Shakur al-Ali al-Kabir.
Yes, coming. Done it.
Okay, then I have also put it, if it doesn't work, then the names that. Okay, then just doesn't work the link. Okay, anyhow. Okay, if it doesn't work the name, then you can just see. Just leave it. So those are the attributed names in order. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الرحمن الرحيم الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر الخالق البارئ المصبر الغفار القهار الوهاب الرزاق الفتاح العليم القابض الباسط الخافض الرافع المعز المذل السميع البصير الحكم العدل اللطيف الخبير. Number 31. الخبير الحليم العظيم الغفور الشكور العلي الكبير الحفيظ المقيت الحسيب الجليل الكريم الرقيب المجيب الواسع الحكيم الودود المجيد الباعث الشهيد الحق الوقيل القوي المتين الولي الحميد المحصي المبدي المعيد المحيي المميت الحي القيوم الواجد الماجد الواحد الأحد الصمد القادر المقتدر المقدم المؤخر الأول الآخر الظاهر الباطن الوالي المتعالي بر التواب المنتقم العفو الرؤوف المالك الملك ذو الجلال والإكرام المقسط الجامع الغني المغني المانع الدار النافع النور الهادي البديع الباقي الوارث الرشيد الصبور جل جلاله. So that's all the blessing of Allah Almighty that I was sharing with you, that I just didn't pay an extra effort to memorize, but my daily routine was like that before the recitation of the Quran, because those names were written on that, and then I just every day read it out, daily routine. But one day I realized that why not memorize, but no need to put extra effort to memorize, it's already memorized, it's Allah's blessing. So we will go back and very simply, you can see actually this is the word that is actually in Arabic, Ar-Rahman, and this is not the translation but it's transliteration, that how to pronounce this word actually, and this is the meaning. And the meanings that I have put here, they might have the slight difference with reference to the context, because they used in Quran in different places. So we have to see, because the person who has the knowledge of Arabic, he knows that what's the meaning in that particular place of the Quran, what's the meaning it depicts. So but simply, if you go through, so these are the simple meanings you can see. Like maybe you can have the notes, the PowerPoint, the handout in your hand. So I think you can go through it and no need to read it all, and then we can have it at home, go through that, because we are just running out of time. But one technical thing that I want to clarify about these names, even our Muslim brothers and sisters, among these attributed names of Allah, that's one of the hadiths that two names among all these names are very dear to God, are very dear to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and those two names are when we give these names to His human beings, because if we want to have this connection with the God, that we want to have our names with these, linked with these attributed names, so then these two names among that list that we have just learned, Abdullah and Abdul Rahman, these two names is dear to God, that Allah likes these two names for His creature, for His human beings, because we are the slaves of God. So this means the slave of Allah, Abdullah, and Abdul Rahman means The Allah whose attributed, one of his attributed name is Rahman, mean the most merciful. And we are the slave of that God who is most merciful. And one more thing that we have to bear in mind when we call somebody with these names, that we must have to have put this up before that, prior to that names. We cannot call somebody, this is out of question that we call somebody Ar-Rahman, but even the Muslim scholars say, you are not supposed to say somebody just like Rahman only, or Rahim. It can be Abdur Rahman, and it can be Abdur Rahim, Abdus Salam. You can put all these names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Abdus Sabur, Abdur Rashid. Mean because the all guidance comes from Allah. He is not the source of guidance, but we can be the slave of God, that who is giving us the guidance. We have to put this word up before the name if we select or choose for us. And this is out of question that nobody can take his name like this, Ar-Rahman. This is very important, because this word in Arabic, when we put alif, this is called alif, and this is lam. This alif and lam makes the name that this is specified only for God, only for Allah. You cannot put this for the people, for the human beings. This only when we say just Ar-Rahman, that it's referring to the most merciful, being the God only. And when we take this name for his creatures, for the people, then we can say Abdur Rahman, Abdur Rahim, Abdus Sami. The all hearing is the attributed quality of God. But when we choose this name for us, then we can say Abdus Sami, mean the listener, the listening. All hearing is for Allah, but we are the slaves of God. So you must have to put this before Ab, and then you can choose any of the attributed names of Allah put together. Prior to that name, Ab. But this we will never call for somebody Ar-Rahman, but can be Abdur Rahman. Some people just in the practice, if they say Rahim and Rahman, to some extent this call says to some extent, but should avoid acceptable. But this can never be, because this Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, As-Sami, the all hearing, Al-Basir, the all seeing, Al-Alim, the all knowing, because all knowledge is for God. Allah knows everything, but we cannot say this for his creature, for his human beings. But he can be Abdul Alim. So this 2-3 technical things about the attributed names I just want to clarify. Actually this, before, because time is running out, going to this, the answer to this question is simple. That Quran mentions in the 112 chapter, Qul huwallahu ahad. O Prophet, you say to them what? Qul huwallahu ahad. That Allah is the one. The unique, as I told you in the beginning of the lecture, incomparable. In its unique word, this ahad and wahad, I make the difference in the beginning. And take one time more as a definition of the God. Who is God? Who is Allah? Say, He is Allah. Who is one? Allahu Samad. Allah, the eternal refuge. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. He neither begets nor he is begotten, or nor he is born. And walam yakullahu kufuwan ahad. And there is no anyone equivalent to him, comparable to him. Because when we look upon us, I have a father, my father have a grandfather, and then you goes like this to them. And if we go to from our generation, then have the offspring. Allah is above all these things. And for all of our needs, we have to look forward to somebody. But Allah doesn't need anybody's help. For all of our needs and requirements, we have to ask from God, but God doesn't need anything. This is As-Samad. For all our requirements, we have to find to look forward to God.